The Quinnipiac men's soccer team took on Siena and Iona as it looked to remain unbeaten in MAC play. Our own Robin Brown joins us live from the Piazza to break down what she saw from the men's basketball open practice on Saturday.
The men's and women's hockey team headed north to Vermont to take on the Catamounts. And we have your top 5 plays of the week. Sports Ball starts right now. Welcome to Sports Balls. I'm your host, John Surratt.
And I'm Shane Dennehy. John, I'm excited to be on the desk with you for your first time hosting Sports Balls.
It's great to be here.
All right, so let's get right into it. The Quinnipiac men's soccer team looked to continue its perfect start to conference play as it welcomed Siena to Hamden on Wednesday afternoon. Let's see how they did. Really, honestly, quite a dull match throughout, but here we are in the first half. Rashawn Daly and Eamon Whalen showing their great link-up play. Eamon Whalen finds Evan Hughes, who puts the ball in the back of the net, but unfortunately for him and the Bobcats, he was offside, so no goal. We are tied 0-0 heading into the second half. Siena now on the attack. Perhaps their best chance of the game. Tim Ugo sends a shot just wide. Great opportunity right there for the Saints. Still 0-0. Roman Danilou sends it into the box, and that one just cleared away off the goal line by Siena. We now head into overtime. What's new? Quinnipiac continuous overtime games here at home. Romain Danilou and Colton Grob combining for that beautiful 1-2. Roman Danilou finds cutting Eamon Whalen, who puts it in the back of the net. Quinnipiac wins this one 1-0 to continue their 4-0 start to conference play.
The men's soccer team then went on to play Iona on Saturday. They were out with some key players going into the match. They went on to lose by a score of 1-0. This ended their 6-game winning streak and their first MAC loss of the year. The Bobcats conceded a penalty late in the first half that led to a Gale score.
We're now going to check out the MAC men's soccer standings. Fairfield remains the lone unbeaten team as it sits at the top of the conference. Marist sits in second place at 5-1 in MAC play. Quinnipiac falls to third after its defeat to Iona over the weekend. Siena, Niagara, and Monmouth round out the bottom three. Quinnipiac welcomes fifth place Rider to Hamden on Wednesday afternoon at 2.
So Quinnipiac went out to play Canisius on Saturday. In the first half, Ali Grunstein finds himself with wide open net, but gets a little too much inside, goes right over the goal. Game is 0-0. Jess Gargan gets a free kick blocked by Canisius defense. Game still tied with 0-0. Canisius gets a cross over the middle as Charlotte Edmonds trying to get it, but it goes into the net. Now into the second half, Ali Grunstein goes for a corner out in the midfield for a teammate who plays shots to the box that's punched away by it, and then Canisius stays up 1-0 after he makes a move and shakes the defender past Jess Gargan right over the net at Rosie. Then the Bobcats put it in the middle right into the net, but it's called for offsides. Now we go into overtime, score 1-1. Hope Gilchrist puts a free kick wide over the net for Olivia Myshevsky. The game remains tied into overtime 1-1.
You know, we chased the win. You know, even in overtime we chased the win. We didn't settle for the tie. So frustrating that we didn't get the second goal or the winner. I think they'd be the first. Thought would be the first to say we deserved it. So yeah, it's frustrating not getting the result, but not the performance, not the effort. Everything else was good.
No surprise on the women's side as perennial MAC power, Monmouth leads the conference with 21 points. Marist is in second place with Niagara and Siena only 1 point behind in the standings. Quinnipiac falls to fifth place after losing 2 of its last 3 matches. Canisius, Fairfield, and Iona sit at the bottom of the table.
For our weekly third poll, what does the men's ice hockey team need to improve upon? Goaltending, defense, power play, or offense? And it shows that they need to have more scoring depth with 58% leading the way. With goaltending with 20%, power play 13%, and faceoffs at 9%.
Since losing to North Dakota in the NCAA championship game 3 years ago, the Quinnipiac men's hockey team has been struggling to find its identity. Hopefully for them, that identity will be found within the 12 newcomers to the team this year. Our Pecknell squad welcomes a talented class headlined by Peter DeLautor, who was drafted by the Las Vegas Golden Knights in the 6th round of the 2018 NHL entry draft. Those newcomers got their first test of college hockey this weekend as the team headed up to Burlington, Vermont to start its season against the Vermont Catamounts. Q30's own Kyle Levasseur has more.
Odin Tufto, Vermont's worst nightmare.
You know, something about Vermont, I don't know what it is, but, you know, like I said, great team win. We battled all night. We got the win.
Tied at 2 apiece, Tufto scored the game-winning goal for Quinnipiac with just 15.2 seconds left in regulation.
Honestly, it was kind of a lucky play. You know, their D bobbled the puck, and I beat them to it, and I turned around and, you know, kind of blind shot it, but, you know, good things happen when you work hard all game.
The sophomore is now 2 for 2 in his career against Vermont. 2 games, 2 game-winning goals. Tufto's goal came 2 minutes after Chase Prisky knotted the game off a slap shot with an extra attacker on. Quinnipiac head coach Rand Pecknold says Prisky continues to improve as a leader.
You know, he's just, I mean, he's an A++ character kid. He always does the right thing when no one's watching him. Like, he's really an impressive individual. He leads by example. He's not a rah-rah leader, but you know, he's a great captain. I think he got a good experience last year, and I've seen him take a jump this year with his leadership. He's even better this year.
Despite trailing 2-1 late in the third period, the Bobcats clawed their way back to start their season 1-0.
I just think it showed how relentless our team was. You know, we're obviously young, but, you know, played with a lot of adversity, and, you know, we never backed down, and it was a really good team win. I mean, to have that type of game happen to you on the first night of the season and you come out with a win, it's pretty awesome.
Quinnipiac isn't done facing Hockey East opponents just yet. It has 2 home games next week, Tuesday night against UConn and Friday night against Boston College. Reporting at the Gutterson Fieldhouse, I'm Kyle Levasseur, Q30 Sports.
It's time for a quick commercial break. The women's ice hockey team was also in Vermont this weekend to see if they got their first win of the year.
Rugby looked to get back on track against Brown. Don't close that browser. We'll be right back.
Do you like debate? That's a converted relief pitcher making the start because it was a doubleheader. You got no hit by a relief pitcher. You can't tell me that's not embarrassing. Analysis.
You can see his stance, his positioning right there is excellent.
And a side of entertainment.
Is he right or is he crazy?
Well, we all know the answer to that. He's a bit crazy, but I gotta say, you know.
Then join us on Bobcat Breakdown.
From the court to the ice to here on the diamond, we'll discuss everything you need to know about Quinnipiac athletics.
Bobcat Breakdown, Tuesdays at 9:30.
Welcome to the WQAQ Morning Show. Dan Ball and Emma Spagnolo joining you here from the QAQ studios in Hamden. And Emma, it is that time of year again.
Whether you're on the quad in your room
or off campus,
tune in to Q30 News for stories from student journalists who you can trust.
We're covering the latest here on campus and in the surrounding communities.
Get the news you need to know every Wednesday night.
From Hamden to Hollywood, we are your source for entertainment news.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. The Quinnipiac women's hockey team was also in action in Vermont this past weekend. Quinnipiac started the year with 4 straight losses, and unfortunately for Quinnipiac, it still could not get that elusive first win. Quinnipiac and Vermont tied game 1 at 1. Taylor House scored a shorthanded, absolute beauty goal to give the Bobcats a 1-0 lead, but Eve Audrey Picard tied the game 21 seconds later on the power play.
The next day, the women's ice hockey team played Vermont. Again, MJ Baird has more.
From puck drop to the final buzzer, Quinnipiac and Vermont were even. The Bobcats getting out of the loss column and earning a tie.
100% a step in the right direction. As we went through the week and what we worked on, we were better in everything we worked on, and that's what we're asking right now.
But Quinnipiac couldn't have done it without some late-game heroics. Enter Courtney Vorster. Down one with the goalie pulled and the extra skater on, Turner looks to her freshman.
It's a face-off play of ours, and excited to have her in that spot so she was able to attack, and I think the goalie wasn't quite ready for that bad angle shot, maybe didn't see it, and we're excited that she was able to get her first goal.
But it's only the beginning. Turner excited about Vorster and her D partner, Zoe Boyd. The two have become staples on the Bobcats' blue line, logging heavy minutes in all facets of the game. To have those two freshmen as a D pairing together, what is their chemistry like on the ice?
On the ice and off the ice, they're best buds, like best buds. It's hard to find them somewhere without the other person, so it's nice to be able to have that chemistry together.
But why are they paired together? They say it's pretty simple.
Honestly, we just click. We just became close. I don't know how it happened, but I don't know.
I think our personalities just go well together, and we just like to have fun. We're kind of laid back people, and yeah, some people call us Quartz and Zoe. So.
Yeah, that's kind of our name, Quartz and Zoe.
Yeah.
For Quartz and Zoe, their chemistry started prior to this weekend's series here in Burlington against Vermont. In fact, before the two even landed in Hamden. It was this summer where the two met, representing their country on the national stage.
Well, we were D partners actually for Hockey Canada when we played together, so we do have a little bit of connection there.
And that connection has led to confidence from their head coach, enough to play them on special teams, and even tonight when the game was on the line.
I started them every period today. I wanted them to get that experience and to understand that they should be confident in the plays that they make, because they add a different element to our team, and nice to have freshmen that are able to step in and do that right away.
In Burlington, Vermont, I'm MJ Baird, Q30 Sports.
The Quinnipiac women's hockey coach, Cass Turner, has shown a lot of trust in her freshmen this season, and that faith has been rewarded by strong performances from Courtney Vorster. Vorster was named ECAC Rookie of the Week after scoring her first career goal against Vermont on Saturday afternoon.
Our player spotlight of the week is women's ice hockey player Taylor House. She had a great weekend against Vermont with 1 goal each day and registered 1 assist. Cass Turner a few weeks ago said she had a great summer and improved a lot. She leads the team with 3 goals on the year and was named the ECAC Player of the Week.
Quite deserved after that filthy goal that she scored against Vermont.
Yes.
The Quinnipiac women's rugby team is coming off its second loss of the season to Harvard as it welcomed fellow Ivy League school Brown to Hamden on Saturday. Let's see how they did. And boy, did they have a great game. In the first half, we see McKenna Haas opening up, continuing Quinnipiac's early dominance with this conversion of Allison's Cohen's try. Quinnipiac now up 17-0. Haas continuing to show what she's all about in her freshman campaign with a 1-2 punch of her own, scoring a try and making a conversion as well. Quinnipiac up 24-0. Now second half, Clara Lamal Brown is showing her shiftiness on the sideline as she stays in bounds and outruns this Brown defense. And I'm not stumbling here. Quinnipiac now up 50-0 with this try. Quinnipiac just absolutely blowing Brown out of the water early on. Quinnipiac just continuing to dominate, showing, we're pretty good. Obviously struggling a little bit against Harvard, but now Margot Vela gets in on the action as for herself as she gets another try to continue dominating against Brown. Now, Quinnipiac now up 57-0. Lamal Brown doing it again, running down that sideline, running into that try zone against Brown. Quinnipiac now up 71-0. You know what, to round it all off, Quinnipiac wins this one 85-3. Quite the performance. New Quinnipiac University President Judy Olean was also in attendance for Quinnipiac's dominant win over Brown. Despite having won 3 state national championships, former Quinnipiac University President John Leahy never really gave the team the respect and recognition that it deserved. Check out the Q30 television YouTube page to see our full interview with Quinnipiac President Judy Olean.
On Friday, the Quinnipiac Bobcats field hockey team went up against Providence Friars at home. The team lost by a score of 6-2. Amanda Blum and Valerie Perkins were the only two Bobcats to score for the team on the day. This game officially eliminated the Bobcats from postseason contention, as before the game, the team had to win out to make the playoffs.
Following a devastating loss to Providence on Friday afternoon, the field hockey team made the short trip down Whitney Ave to take on the Yale Bulldogs. The Bulldogs handed the Bobcats their 5th consecutive loss with a 3-1 win over the Bobcats. Brooke Whipke tied the game at 1 shortly after halftime, but the Bulldogs scored 2 unanswered goals to beat the Bobcats. Last week on Bobcat Breakdown, our own Josh Silverman explained how the Quinnipiac field hockey team could still qualify for the Big East tournament.
We're now joined by field hockey
Providence
beat
this
reporter
Friday.
Josh Silverman.
They need to win that game. If they lose that game, or honestly any of the games after, they play Temple and Old Dominion, those 2 games they should definitely win. Providence will be the big test. But if they lose any of these games, the best they can get to is 3-4, which their record has been the last couple of years. That's most likely not MJ, not going to be enough.
3 wins won't get you in, but 4 usually does.
Field hockey beat reporter Josh Silverman. Josh, how are you doing today?
Doing well, John. Good to be here for the first time on the desk. Shane, we spent the whole day together. Why not spend our night together? Happy to see that clip. I looked pretty good in it, I thought. No, I'm just messing, but excited to talk some field hockey tonight.
So, Josh, what does this loss to Providence mean for the team?
Well, you know, you touched on it on your intros. It honestly means that they're eliminated from playoff contention, and here's why. So Providence now has 3 wins. Georgetown has 2 wins. ODU has 2 wins. Villanova has 2 wins, and Quinnipiac sits at 1 win. So assuming the season plays out how we think it should, aka, you know, the UConn wins the games they should, Temple loses the games they should, Quinnipiac should finish with, at best, let's say they somehow beat ODU this Friday, they will finish with 3 wins, which would still not be enough for them to make the Big East tournament because they would be tied with ODU and Villanova, and then ODU would have the tiebreaker over Villanova and Quinnipiac because they had beaten Providence earlier in the season. So even if Quinnipiac were to win out, the Providence loss is too much for them to overcome in the standings. So they are, you know, they're playing to get better, they're playing for pride, they're playing for all those reasons, but in the end, they're not playing for a spot in the Big East tournament again this season.
Now, Josh, what does the future hold for this young field hockey team with 10 freshmen on the roster?
You know, the future really does hold a lot. First of all, they still have Becca Main as their head coach, and I've talked on the show multiple times. Becca Main is a phenomenal coach. She does the little things right along with those big things. This is the first recruiting class that has come here for Big East play. They have 9 players with a goal this year, 7 of which will return next year. 3 players with 4 goals on the team, all tied with the most amount of goals. That's Elisa Van Winkle, Michaela Adams, and Brooke Whipke. And 2 of them are freshmen, 1's a sophomore. So, yeah, you know, the future's bright. This is going to sting now, and you can say, you know, it's a little bit of a lost season, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever you want to call it. It's going to sting, and it's not going to end how they wanted to again. But the future is bright, and, you know, we can keep saying that, and it is true. This future is as bright as it's ever been for this program in terms of them being in the Big East and competing at a big level. But it's going to sting for them right now, and it's going to be tough to overcome this.
Insightful and knowledgeable as always. Josh, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, Shane.
It's time for another quick break, but when we come back, the field hockey team look to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Men's and women's cross-country teams competing in the New England Championship, and we have your top 5 plays of the week.
Welcome to the WQAQ Morning Show. Dan Ball and Emma Spagnolo joining you here from the QAQ studios in Hamden. And Emma, it is that time of year again.
Tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich and a bad sandwich. First, the standard sandwich. Uninspired and frankly, a little gross. But we have here a Ray and Mike sandwich, the Cadillac of sandwiches. And if you want one, well,
come on down to Ray and Mike's at 3030 Whitney Ave, Hamden, Connecticut. Open every day from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. QCash is accepted.
now that's a sandwich.
Let's get it going. Sports Paws starts right now.
We start tonight with some basketball coverage.
And here again, Aaron Robinson hits the shot of his life. I don't know what that celebration is, MJ, but I'm loving it.
Is that Fortnite?
Volleyball team continued its tough MAC conference games down in New York. The Quinnipiac women's volleyball team traveled to Poughkeepsie, New York, as it looked to rebound following its third straight loss. Quinnipiac and Marist split the first two sets, but Marist dominated the third and fourth sets to beat the Bobcats 3-1. Morgan Sherwin led the Bobcats with 11 kills.
Volleyball then went on to play Manhattan Jaspers on Saturday in Riverdale, New York. After winning the first set, the Bobcats lost their next consecutive 3 sets as Jaspers won by 3-1. Maggie Baker led the day for the Bobcats in kills with 10 and Kaylee Oates led in blocks with 4.
Quinnipiac played its 5th consecutive match in New York on Sunday as it took on MAC-leading Iona. Quinnipiac and Iona split the first 2 sets before Iona took control of the match, winning a closely contested third set, 26-24. Iona would close out the match with a dominant 4th set as Quinnipiac would lose its 6th match in a row. With 29 assists in Quinnipiac's loss to first-place Iona, junior setter Maria Pansari became the 3rd player in program history to record 3,000 assists. She is currently 3rd place in program history with career assists. Pansari is behind Kayla Lawler and Jen McLean, who leads Quinnipiac with over 4,500 career assists.
Now for the volleyball MAC standings, Iona leads the conference at 9-1, followed by Marist in 2nd and Fairfield at 3rd. Quinnipiac currently sits at 8th place in the standings with a record of 2-8. Also, Canisius has a record of 7-3, and Niagara at 6-4 for the top 5, and Siena 0-9 at the end.
Our Quinnipiac men's basketball beat reporters traveled up to the People's United Center this afternoon to check out practice. Let's see what they have.
Welcome to the rebound for Q30 Sports. I'm Brian Schwartz alongside Aaron Robinson of the men's basketball team. And Aaron, this time for the rebound, we're talking about practice. How was practice today? What did you guys do?
Practice today we did a lot of live stuff today. Actually, you know, we tried to give ourselves a feel of getting a little bit of press offense in and press defense and stuff. Just trying to work on some concepts that are going to get us ready for some teams that we're going to play this year. So still learning, and guys are just trying to make sure that we're going hard and listening, taking criticism and stuff. So I think today was a good day for just getting a lot of reps going up and down.
3 weeks into practice now so far this year. What has changed since day 1 to now?
I think the biggest thing is just guys are really buying in. You know, when you first come in day 1, you don't really know anything. Even the returning guys, this is our 2nd year with Dunleavy, so you know we're far from finished products. And the young guys, they came in here from high school, so they didn't really know half of what was going on. So just some of the concepts that are a lot different from high school, coming in and then just learning them and getting better every day. So I think today, obviously 3 weeks in, things are going a lot smoother. Guys are buying in, and a lot of concepts are starting to come together a lot better.
Obviously, now it's still early. You don't know your roles exactly for the team yet as per minutes and stuff, but do you sort of see the roles getting taken into place?
I think everybody just tries to do a little bit of everything. So as far as roles, I think everybody tries to just contribute in any way that we can. Just making the attitude plays, making hustle plays, playing hard at all times. So those are the main things. If you're doing those things, I think the minutes will dole themselves out as they will. So I think everybody's just trying to buy in and just play hard each and every day.
And a few more weeks left until the first game. What do you guys hope to work on in these final couple weeks?
Just trying to make sure that we're working on being more together, together defensively, together offensively, playing off of each other, being strong with our concepts, and strong with on defensively is going to be the main thing, because I think we got guys that have played last year, so I think that'll help us out on the offensive end. But just making sure defensively we can play together and play with each other and just try to get better with our core values,
Great. Thank you, Aaron, so much.
No problem.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Appreciate it.
We have men's basketball beat reporter Robin Brown for a preview for the upcoming men's basketball season.
Well, Shane,
This past weekend, I got the opportunity to attend the men's open practice, and it was a swift and quick moving practice. Head coach Baker Dunleavy went from drill to drill, but what resonated the most with me about this initial practice was the fact that he said, I don't care if you guys make it, I don't care if you miss it. What I care about is if you guys are making the right decisions. He took this time to use practice as teaching moments, and that if we can perform excellent now, later on in the regular season, we're going to be able to execute the plays as we go. Offensively, they pushed the ball in transition, and defensively, Baker Dunleavy was having his team press. And so I would not be surprised if you see the Bobcats going in a full-out press and trapping in the corners looking for steals to make the ball in transition.
Yeah, I was up at practice today. Definitely saw a lot of pressure early on, and I like what I see so far. What players stood out to you in that practice on Saturday?
Well, the first player that I'm going to go with is Cam Young. So first of all, Young has his veteran leadership. He was just granted an extra year of eligibility by the NCAA. Not to mention, he scored 20.9 points per game last season in the conference, and that ranked him second in the MAC. So, I mean, from my point of view, I think that he knows how to score off the dribble, and he can shoot from deep.
Like you said, Cam Young granted an extra year of eligibility. He came in as a junior college transfer under Tom Moore. Didn't really play a lot his first season here, but this past year he really excelled with Quinnipiac under Baker Dunleavy. Robin, thank you as always. We're going to toss it back to the desk with John Surratt. John, take it away.
Time for another quick break. Don't leave us just yet. We will be right back.
Welcome to the WQAQ Morning Show. Dan Ball and Emma Spagnolo joining you here from the QAQ studios in Hamden. And Emma, it is that time of year again.
Tonight on Sandwich News, we will determine what makes a good sandwich.
The Quinnipiac golf team performed in the Brown Bear Invitational on Sunday and Monday. After the first day, Quinnipiac sat tied at third after shooting 15 over par. Queenie Lai finished day one tied for third after shooting an even par of 72. On the second day, the team came in second place with Alexander Sazin shot at 1 under 71. Next week, the team goes down to Delaware to be in the Delaware Invitational.
The men's and women's cross-country teams competed in the Princeton Invitational this past weekend. The men's team finished 16th out of 20 teams. Michael Kiernan led the way for the men's, finishing in 18th place overall. The women's team came in 17th place out of the 22 teams. On the women's side, Caitlin Backus finished first for the Bobcats, as she finished in 38th place overall.
So now in our top 5 plays for the week. Shane, you take the even, and I'll take the odd. So let's take a look at Shane.
Claire Lamal Brown down gets her 4th try of the game after juking multiple Brown defenders on her way to score.
Next for top 4 play, we have men's hockey at Vermont. The captain Chase Prisky with a slap shot goal that tied the game up at 2. Quinnipiac goes on to win this game 3-2.
Another play from this game up in Vermont. Quinnipiac, Odin Tufto picking up where he left off. Game-winning goal for Quinnipiac. Nice shot right there. Great celly, as always, from Tufto. Quinnipiac steals this one, 3-2 in overtime.
Then into the second play, men's soccer. Roman Daniello brings it inside the box, tricks the goalie, and passes the ball to Eamon Whalen, who scores the game-winning goal for the Bobcats into overtime. Look at that.
Quite the finish right there for Megan Whalen. Now our top play of the week, Taylor House, Dangle City. I think Nick Germain's got some competition next election for mayor of Dangle-Piac with those filthy hands from Taylor House. Quinnipiac splits this one, ties first game, and then loses the second one up in Vermont. Now let's take a look at the home games for this upcoming week. The Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team welcomes 2 Hockey East teams to Hamden this week, with UConn on Tuesday and Boston College visiting the Frank Perotti Jr. Arena on Friday. The men's soccer team faces Ryder on Wednesday as it looks to rebound from its loss to Iona.
The women's volleyball comes back home to take on St. Peter's and Ryder for the weekend. It is the beginning stretch of 7 games played at home.
Well, time flies when you're having fun. John, I hope you enjoy your first time at the main desk. Be sure to stay up to date on all things Quinnipiac athletics by following us on Twitter at Q30Sports.
Thanks for having me on tonight. For Shane Denny, I'm John Surratt. This has been Sports Paws. Have a great week.